Oh, it says, do you see that we are live? If it's live, it must mean that it's Thursday around 11 o'clock ish. But it's May 4th, 2023. It's the Down Beach Buzz Real Estate and News Webcast with our great friends, Sherri Lilienfeld of eXp Realty and Apex Prime. She's there at apexprime.com, but she's a big part of that company called eXp Realty. And Paul Scollage in the lower circle square. It's like Hollywood Squares. Paul Scollage from Guaranteed Rate. He's the mortgage expert, and you can reach him in Brigantine or go online at rate.com. Is that correct, Paul?
That's correct. I like the Hollywood Squares. What a great show.
The countdown for summer 2023 is coming. You think it's going to be a good summer?
I sure hope so.
That's not very encouraging. You got to say, damn straight it is. It's going to be awesome.
How many more weeks to Memorial Day? We got 3.
It's coming soon. Anyway, we have our comments on, so people can ask Sherri or ask Paul any questions. Maybe you want to ask about, for example, if I was in the market for a mortgage, I would say Paul Scollage of rate.com. You know, Guaranteed Rate is the company, but you can find him at rate.com. Or maybe if you're a Brigantiner, you go over and you knock on his door and you say, give me some help here. What's up with this Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac thing? I have great credit, but now they want to penalize me, and the dude down the street who can't pay his bills, they're giving him a lower rate. Paul, please save my sorry ass. Have you heard that recently, man?
I sure have. What a great segue here. But yes, the news media is really blowing a lot of this stuff out of proportion, and there's definitely an impact with credit scores. So really what it is, it's called loan level price adjustments. And these are initiated by both Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. And really what it comes down to is there is going to be adjustments to interest rates for certain people with certain credit scores. So the client with the 780 credit score or above is not impacted at all. Quite frankly, they're going to see a little bit of an improvement in rate. So the higher your credit score is, you're still going to see improvements just as long as you're over that 780 threshold. Okay. Where the big impact is going to be in those clients with the 740 to the 779 credit score. There will be adjustments to rates. Okay. And it really all depends on what's considered your LTV, which is your loan to value, is where that 740 to 779 will come into play. You put down 30%, none of these adjustments will come into play whatsoever. The advantage is that client in that 739 to 680 bucket, where they will see some improvement in rates. So yes, there's definitely adjustments across the board. However, the news media is making it a lot worse than it really is. And the impact is coming directly from Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac.
So you said something interesting, Paul. Paul Scollage of rate.com. Actually, the company is guaranteedrate.com. They're mortgage experts. And you can reach out to Paul over there in Brigantine. Paul, you're saying that if you put 30% down, is that what I heard? If you're putting 30% or more down on that home, you don't got to deal with any of this nonsense?
That's correct. All the nonsense goes away. So the 30% down bucket is where you can get to, and you will not see any of those loan level price adjustments. Remember, it's LLPA, loan level price adjustments, is what's impacting the interest rates.
So as a media guy, my whole career has been in TV, radio, and newspaper, and we get to pick and choose what we share to listeners and readers and all that. Paul, I didn't see anything in the traditional media that talked about that little sweet spot in between, that you're the ones that are going to get hosed, or that if you had 30% down, you don't got to worry about it. Why are they omitting like this really important information that can affect your monthly expense by thousands of dollars for your living expense?
Great question, because 50 to 60% of clients are in that sweet spot. That's the reason why they omitted it, right? So they're in that 740 to 779 bucket, and they're trying to cover that up. But yes, there's going to be an impact. There's absolutely an impact. The new adjustment that people aren't aware of yet, and it just rolled out today too, is your debt to income ratio. If your debt to income ratio is above 40%, and the maximum we can go to is 50, anybody in that 40% to 49.99 will also see an increase in interest rates.
Any thoughts on that, Sherri, that you want to ask Paul?
Yeah, I just think it's crazy, right? Like most of the people are between, you think you're good if you're over 740. I've always heard you're over 740, you're going to get the best rate. And now it's different. And now like you're penalized because you have a 740 to 779 credit score. And Paul, you were saying that's like 50 to 60% of the people out there. I'm just
Are
baffled.
any clients talking about this yet? Has it hit those folks?
Absolutely. So, you know, the down payment in the mortgage industry, always everyone was focused on 25%. With these adjustments, you're going to start to see people change and try to get to the 30%. I can't tell you how many text messages that I've gotten from clients and saying, hey, am I impacted? It's May 1st. Is my interest rate going to go up? What should I do? Should I lock in my rate? But yes, it's in the public. People are aware of it. They're seeing it. I do think that it will have an impact, but in my personal opinion, it's not going to be a major impact across the board.
And share much, because we're lucky to live here in the Down Beach area. You know, there's only so much beach space to buy. It's not likely people down here doing real estate transactions will be affected by this. Is that a halfway decent guess of what might affect the local Down Beach real estate transactions?
I still think, and Paul, you could chime in here, that people down here are still affected. Like even, like I said, even if they're not getting a mortgage on the second home, they're going to get a mortgage on their primary home sometimes, which they have a lot of equity in. But I don't see a difference in how it's going to affect people, because those cash buyers a lot of them are still getting mortgages. But Paul, if you want to chime in.
The biggest impact to the shore market is the second home market, is what Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac put in place for if you're buying a second home or an investment property, interest rates are drastically higher than if you're buying a primary residence. That's the problem that we're facing today. There's no way to overcome that. They've tried to get away from that product, that type of loan. So they're focusing their business on primary residence, and they're pushing people into the second homes that have to put much more money down. The only way that you're not going to see the impact on second homes is if you get to that 30 and sometimes even 40% down versus going all cash. But that's the problem that we're seeing in the shore market today. And then we talked about condos several different times. Condos are still a major problem and have an adjustment to interest rates.
Question. So with the average price of a home down the shore much, much higher, even those who typically back in the day would pay cash or most of it in cash, now they're more likely to have to need a mortgage because that house they love is on the market for twice its value compared to a few years ago. Is that a good way of looking at it, Paul?
It is. I mean, so property values we know across the board are skyrocketing, especially at the shore. So the good news is those people that were going to buy that $800,000 in cash and now they're going to the 1.5, 1.6. They have a big chunk of money to put down. That will actually help in terms of what type of interest rate that they're going to see. The other thing that we're seeing a lot of is adjustable rate mortgages, which you have the ability to take a 5-year, a 7-year, or a 10-year fixed rate for that time period, which again, if you're going into a 10-year adjustable rate mortgage, 10 years is a lot of years. You're fixed for 10 years where that rate will not be adjusted. A lot of people have a plan and a vision that they're going to pay off that mortgage within that certain period of time. So ARMs are another popular product, but stay tuned. We'll see what's happening. I mean, I think obviously you can see from my last time, guys, rates are on the decline. That's where we need to go.
Yeah, and it's the DownbeachBUZZ Real Estate Webcast. Any information you need, go to DownbeachBUZZ.com. Sherri Lilienfeld from eXp Realty, she's here, and Paul Skolich, Senior Vice President of Mortgage Lending for Guaranteed Rate. So the current 30-year rate, Paul, for those with good credit, but maybe the bigger thing to say is yesterday, Chairman Powell said we're going to give you another 1/4 point rise in interest rates. The overnight rate, is that what it is? The overnight rate?
The Fed rate.
The Fed rate, yeah.
Yep.
And but that didn't make the markets clap hands. They actually retreated somewhat. What's your thoughts on what they did yesterday? And have we reached a plateau in regards to mortgage rates?
It seems as though yesterday was the last hike that we're going to see, hopefully for a very long time. Okay. The hike that we saw yesterday, that 1/4% hike, had little to zero impact on what we're seeing today. that hike has been baked in for some time. However, he also hinted that this could be the end, which is what investors want to see. What we're also seeing, and hopefully that we'll see, they talked about a potential cut at some point, and I think, we could see a cut as early as July. So, in my opinion, we're only going to see improvement in rates. It might be a bump in the road, but I believe that the interest rates that we should be seeing as we move forward, we should start seeing a lot more 5s and a lot less 6s.
All right, very good. If Tilly is okay with this, I wouldn't mind having her mama do some market stats, the Down Beach Real Estate stats for Ventnor and Margate, and that's not only an inventory, how many houses are available, but what are they selling for? Are you ready, Sherri Lilienfeld?
I am ready.
Is that a good thing? We'll start out with.
I'm ready. So
let's start out with Ventnor. How about that?
Ventnor. So these were the total number of properties on the market that are active on the market. So you could see February, which is really it's February 2nd. So it's really the end of January. We had 48. Now today, May 4th, we're down to 35. The inventory in Ventnor is dropping. It's been dropping, continues to drop. But the average price in Ventnor, yes, it's 1.34 million, and it's been steady from last month. So we're kind of holding steady at that 1.34 million average price. Again, all this information is from the South Jersey Regional MLS. So then what I always like to look at is what's been going under contract 30 days prior. So I looked at 30 days and only 9 properties in Ventnor went under contract. So that's not that many, but then again, we don't have a lot of inventory. Let's compare.
Are realtors getting competitive and going, "That's mine"? No, that's mine.
It's funny. I was just talking today with a title agent about what I have been seeing is realtors really expanding their geographic area. I was offshore in EHT showing properties, and I ran into another agent from the Down Beach areas who's typically very active in the Down Beach area showing houses in EHT. I see listings, and probably a lot of people have noticed you've seen listings from companies you maybe never heard of. People just are expanding their reach to just keep their numbers up of what they were accustomed to for their income. As realtors, we're 100% commission, and it's kind of hard to budget when your income fluctuates a lot. So anyway, that's what's been happening. So let's look at Margate. I need to see that slide. So Margate.
I'm sorry. I was getting a lot of instant messages and public comments saying they wanted to have more full screen Sherri Lilienfeld.
I think you should have full screen of the slide, but okay.
Wow, those slides, those numbers are not very impressive, but when you're on the screen, our analytics goes through the roof here at DownbeachBUZZ. It really does.
So
I don't know. And when I'm on the screen, you see these dips. It's really it's very interesting.
So. No. Anyway, the Margate inventory has been pretty consistent. It went up last month, and now it dropped by a few, but it's holding around the 70 number, the high 60, 70 number. So the average sale price based on the MLS, again, pretty consistent. In March, it was 2.23, then 2.21, 2.24. A lot of new construction is what brings that price up. So let's look at what happened in the last 30 days. So last 30 days, again, 10 homes went under contract. Now think about it. Think about how many realtors there are in the Margate Ventnor area. And there's only 10 properties. Now this doesn't include condos. There's only 10 properties that went under contract. Okay, that's not even one per realtor, right? So yes, we have to expand our reach. So the next thing, what I always like to look at.
Oh, it's my favorite. It's the absorption rate. It's
the absorption rate.
I wait every week for this. Here it is. I'm sorry.
What absorption rate really is?
Because Paul, I can't even pronounce that phrase, absorption rate, because I think
absorption rate.
Is it a P or a B?
Absorption.
When you're absorbing something. So yeah. So from my chemical engineering days, I used to use that word a lot. But anyway, it's basically an inventory number. That's really what the absorption rate is. I don't know why it's called absorption rate. It's a monthly inventory number. You take your total inventory, what's active, and you divide it by what went under contract the last 30 days. And that tells you your monthly inventory. So let's look at Ventnor's monthly inventory / AKA absorption rate. So if you remember, this is Margate. Last month, we had a 9.5 monthly inventory, which is a total buyer's market, really, really skewed to buyer's market. Now we're coming down to a more stable market with a 6.7 months inventory. Really, when you're between like a 5 to 7th month, I think 7 month is pushing it. That's considered a stable market. I personally wouldn't say that's a stable market, but last month it was 9.5. Now we're down to 6.7. So we're getting to a more stable market in Margate, which is a good sign. And yeah, Ventnor, we're down to a 3.9 months inventory. So still a seller's market, but definitely getting more stable. Last month, this number was 2. We had a 2-month supply. So both the Ventnor and the Margate market are getting more towards a stable market, which is what we'd like to see.
I think that handles that particular topic, right?
Yeah. Oh, wait, I always do my question, Longport. How many houses are for sale in Longport?
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Well, last month it was 6. Okay, we've increased a tremendous amount to 9 houses for sale in Longport. So anyway, that's a big percentage, but again, it's not a big total number. But Longport doesn't have that many houses overall. All right, here we go. We're going on a drone ride.
Oh, we're ready for that right this second?
Yes.
All right, well, strap in. I hope that you are wearing your helmet. And this is a awesome 4K drone footage video from the amazing Ron Brown of Margate. They call him the expat, but he's everywhere. He is the master drone specialist. And it comes in handy sometimes when you're promoting a neighborhood or a house. Drones aren't perfect for every use, but sometimes they're used to get up and see the condition of the roof or take a look at something from a different angle. Right, Sherri? Drone is a much more important part of your real estate world, isn't it?
Yeah, we do it for our virtual tours, especially if a property is close to the beach, just to highlight the location. Some home inspectors do use drones, like you said, for the roofs. Zach still climbs up on those roofs despite—
I'm sorry, who?
Zach, my husband.
I'm sorry, Zach, your loving husband. I'm sorry.
Despite his complaining, he still gets on those roofs. But yeah, it's used a lot for real estate, for sure.
It was a good season for cherry blossoms, wasn't it?
Beautiful.
This is from a few weeks ago. But Ron does a great job. And as I look at this, well, you have high definition, but look at those gorgeous. This is the Parkway, right? Am I at the Parkway or what?
The Parkway.
Ventnor Avenue in Margate.
That's right. And there's the community church. Oh, and what we're also looking at, guys? We're looking at the infamous road diet. You think people like that? Because the politicians are fighting about it. But how about the average person? Do they like the road diet in Margate?
I really feel like, like any change, people complain, they don't like it. Now it's like second nature. When you're driving from Ventnor to Margate on Atlantic Avenue and the lanes change, you're used to it. Now when we're on Amherst Avenue, people know. Like, I think when it first happened, there was a lot of confusion, but we're used to it. And plus, people love to ride their bikes, and we really did need more lane space for the bikers.
Yeah, I'm a biker, so I like it. But Ventnor's mayor reportedly says, no, we don't like the road diet idea. But when you have a 4-lane road, 2 in each direction, and it's a beach block road like Atlantic Avenue, it's dangerous when you have all these families crossing. And Ventnor took forever to go from 35 miles per hour down to 25. And that's shameful that it took years for that particular commissioner to finally give in, because every other shore town knew that research showed you can have 2 lanes in each direction, beach block, families and strollers and wagons, because that 35 mile per hour speed limit, they're doing 45 easy. So shame on you, Mr. Public Safety guy. You know who I'm talking about. But anyway,
tell us how you really feel.
Well, this is the same person that's in charge of those really fast 30 mile per hour electric bikes that are heavy, that are going to really hurt somebody this year because there's too many of them. But we're getting a little off track, but you can see that public safety is really at the top of my list. And sometimes there's profit and there's building and development and cool stuff. We want that so much that we kind of say, don't worry, it might not be that safe, but what the hell. Anyway, this video from Ron Brown, the drone video, we could have a little game here, Sherri. We can fly across all different parts of the Down Beach area, and we can count how many plots are being developed. Take a look at this one. I mean, everywhere you go, you talked about it. Used to be back in the day, the beachfront blocks that had all the construction, but now you're 4 or 5 blocks in, and you have people driving piles and building, what they're called lighthouses, skinny and tall, right?
Yeah, definitely all new construction. I think when I was going down the Parkway section, which is what you're showing now, I counted just in the narrow Parkway section 4 or 5 new construction properties just right along Ventnor Avenue there. It's a lot.
And what is that? And it's really interesting because you get to see how they are spending the money for road configurations. And your whole family is into basically city planning or planning type activity, right, Sher? This stuff is it's much more than just saying, yeah, we'll put an intersection here, we'll have the speed limit here. It really, when you take a look at it from a drone perspective, you really get to appreciate the importance of a good city planner or engineer, huh?
Yeah, I mean, there are lots of considerations like the runoff. That's a big problem on the island. You're building, and especially people putting their pools with the pavers around it. Like, there has to be a place for the runoff to go where it rains. Well, it shouldn't go into your neighbor's yard. They don't like that. So yeah, there's a lot of planning that goes into everything, the whole infrastructure of development.
All right, Paul, you want to put Sherri on the spot real fast?
Sure, let's do it.
Yeah.
Come on.
You see this plot? You see this plot right here? I'm not exactly sure where it is, but just off the top of your head, if somebody's driving down, they want to buy that. What's that worth in its current shape? Ballpark. Is that a crazy number that it's almost impossible until you get more comps?
Yeah, what I try to do is, I try to do a price per square foot of the lot, and then a buildable square foot. Like, that's really how to do it. I'm sorry, I don't have that calibrated eye where I can tell you how big that
but at the same time, though, a lot goes into that number. I guess what I was just trying to figure out is everything gets snapped up pretty fast, I guess, and that some numbers might come top of mind that, give me $3 million for that. I don't know.
Yeah, I was just talking to someone. I have a client who's actually looking to buy something beachfront, and I talked to a couple of owners, and yeah, the numbers that were being thrown at me were really, really high.
Silly.
So but there are people they're still buying, so I can't criticize that. I mean, someone's going to ask and someone's going to accept. Who am I to?
But listen, we all know that Margate is a building machine, but when you take a look at high definition video drone footage like we're looking at now, it really tells a much better story about Margate, doesn't it? Or it says, hey, if you're coming to Margate, it's going to be pretty noisy for the next few years because people are tearing down and building up. But look at all the construction just in this particular scene, Sher.
There's, like, every other block is another tear down, rebuild. Yeah.
It's been ongoing. I don't think there's no end in sight.
And since there's no more new land to buy, they'll just take a house, tear it down. But I do believe that there are some people beating up the planning board a little bit, saying, you can't let people just keep on squeezing more bedrooms in. You got to have a limit. Otherwise, we're losing parking, on-street parking. We're losing that. And you are just building out too much density. And there's going to come a point where it's going to chase people out, which is why we can't find full-time employment with young people for all these restaurants. They can't afford to live here. But anywho, I got to tell you, these high definition videos are superb, especially when you're talking about neighborhoods. And hey, is this a quiet neighborhood? Everywhere you look, Sherri, big giant holes everywhere. You know, boy, I wouldn't mind being in a construction business. Oh, let me tune this in. I want to zoom in on the pool at Sherri Lilienfeld's residence, and I think it was a sunny day. She might have been in the hot tub. Can we zoom in on that?
No, we're not doing that picture again, please.
Where is it? Let me see.
No, that's not my pool.
No.
Wrong house.
Let me ask you this.
Next.
But what do the realtor agencies or the organizations say about drone footage, how to use it, what's appropriate, what's not, how close can you get to a neighborhood? As you can see, it's pretty, you can see everything. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you need a license to fly a drone.
Yeah.
So that's number one. You can't just buy a drone on Amazon and fly it around. You need a license. Yes, there's peeping Tom laws. I mean, you can't go into people's windows. And they go through all that when you're getting your license, I'm assuming. I don't know. I don't have one, but that's why I just prefer to hire someone who has a license. But yeah, you can't be nosy and going into your neighbor's yard. Going above like that's fine.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I am very familiar with these streets and neighborhoods, but I never got to see this angle. You know, you don't get to see over that 6 foot. Yeah. It's
But if you look at it, where is the pervious space, which is where the water runoff is supposed to go? It looks like that whole lot was built with non-pervious.
And doesn't look like there's too many people putting solar panels up, Paul, or what do you think?
Well, I don't see many, right?
I see more.
Such a cool shot.
Yeah. But there they have the pervious space. Now I see a lot more. I see a lot more solar panels lately. A lot more. My neighbors behind me, 2 of them just put like solar panels up. I have been seeing a lot more solar panels. And from the buy side, what I notice from the buyers, they don't mind the solar panels. What are you doing? What are you watching?
No, it's the next topic. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
The Partridge Family.
Well, I just wanted to make sure.
We can finally see each other.
Were you a David Cassidy fan?
I didn't have a crush on him, if that's what you mean. He's a good performer, but you know.
I tried to get my hair to look like him.
He's got a good mullet. Good mullet.
Sherri, are you got to get a little tingly a little bit? Because every girl loved David Cassidy.
I love Donny Osmond and Elvis Presley. Elvis Presley was actually my first love. Paul's getting upset. He's like, shut that crap off.
This is great.
All right. Everybody loves it, especially my good friend Marco D'Aversa. You know Marco? He's the one that got me into pickleball. That's it. I just had to drop the name pickleball.
Drop the name, huh?
All right. We got to be more serious, Sherri.
What else? You had to get that pickleball in there. You had to get that in there.
Anyway, if you want to watch more of Ron's work, just click on DownbeachBUZZ. And we had some events we want to talk about here before we say goodbye.
Well, the first thing I want to remind everyone, being that beach season is almost here, you have to buy your beach badges before June 1st to get the discount, the half price discount. You can go to the Margate Pavilion and get your beach tag. You can go to the Ventnor City Hall, Longport City Hall to get your beach badges. So get them before June 1st. Otherwise, the price goes up double. And keep in mind, if there's any, if you're 12 and under, you don't need a beach badge. But if you're older, you do. And also seniors have there are discounted badges for seniors. So don't forget, like if you are in that age group, then get the senior badge. So that was one thing. And yes, you can buy online as well, but then you have to go pick it up, but you need the app.
Yeah, and I have it all spread out here. You go up to Sherri's site or go to DownbeachBUZZ.com. I broke it out based on each town, and I guess the big story would be the discount still applies. So get those preseason beach tags, and you can get it online as well using that thing called the Viply mobile app. But the big news is Longport is now $35 for the season. So they're the ones that really had to hike it up. But the Longport folks might be able to find that extra money in the couches, in the cracks of their couch, right?
Yeah, I mean, but again, if you get it before, I think Longport's June 2nd is their date. If you get it before, theirs is June 2nd. It's discounted as well. So.
Okay. And we had another event, I think, coming up this weekend, the citywide yard sale, Sherri?
Yeah, so that's always a big event. It brings in a lot of people. You don't really need, I know, I hate to say this, but I never registered. They used to encourage you to register, but people are driving around looking for deals and they see your stuff on the yard. They're going to stop whether you're on their map or not. And it's also a great way to, if you're cleaning out for the season, but also if you're looking for some nice decor, like a lot of people have some really nice stuff. If you have a rental property, you want to decorate. So yeah, I just wanted to mention those two items. So that is, it says Saturday at 9, but people start driving around a lot earlier. So.
And don't forget, Sherri, Disco Night Fever Mania coming up at the Hard Rock on June 2. And Cheap Trick, you like Cheap Trick, right? I want you to want me at the Hard Rock on May 20. And
what about Latour de Down Beach bike ride?
Tears for Fears.
That's coming up on June 4, Latour de Down Beach, a great event. And Tears for Fears used to always play them. Everybody Wants to Rule the World. And Tears for Fears, Friday, June 23 at the Hard Rock. That's awesome. Those guys are great. Kurt and Roland Orzabal, I think their names is. Anything else here, Sherri?
Well, since we're talking bands, okay. So May 19th, this band called Gaslight Anthem is playing at Hard Rock. So Gaslight Anthem, let me just tell you my connection with them. When I was growing up, my friend Bonnie Cohn, she used to hang out with me with my boyfriend who was a drummer. And she always says, I want to be, she was a total roadie. What's it called? The person that like follows the band. Anyway, her son is one of the guitarists in Gaslight Anthem. So I just thought I'd give him a plug because I have a connection with them from my friend Bonnie Cohn. Well, her last name is Levine. His last name's Levine. So, all right.
So I was looking at the amount of time we've been doing these webcasts. We've been doing them for like about almost 3 years now.
Wow, that's crazy.
Have you ever seen the very earliest videos of you and me doing a webcast?
Here we go.
No.
I don't have it. I don't have it now, but I'm just saying you will. It's interesting. You get to see the progress. Our backgrounds, where we lived at that time, what we thought was appropriate. So even though it'll be a little cringy, a little bit, you'll really say, "Wow, we got a lot better over time."
I don't want to watch those first ones. No, I don't want to see them.
Maybe we can start off with next Throwback Thursday. That would be pretty cool, right? To see a little bit of throwback videos of you guys.
Sherri would get to see the progress of her beauty, of her online lusciousness.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. It's time to get off the air now. Like we're done.
All right.
Focus.
That's about it. So we'll talk to you soon. But thank you, Sherri Lilienfeld of eXp Realty. They can reach you at apexprime.com. Is that right, Sherri? Any thoughts to have them? Why would somebody want to reach out to Sherri Lilienfeld specifically?
Because I am honest, I'm hardworking, I am diligent, and I am relentless to help someone find what they want, even if it seems impossible. But again, I think the most important thing is being honest and forthright in this business because, I always consider any real estate investment, even if it's for personal use, it's an investment. So you have to make good decisions. And with that, you need good information.
And Paul, why would somebody travel to beautiful Brigantine, New Jersey to stop by and say hi and ask you a question about that Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac thing, and maybe they're wearing a Jerome Powell T-shirt? Is that the kind of person you want to have a sit down with?
Absolutely not there, but no, absolutely. My competitive nature, I can tell you guys, I look at every deal that I get. My competitiveness, I don't like to lose at anything. So when it comes to that, I will try to win every single deal. The other thing is the customer service levels. I've been at this now 16 years, and service levels are the most important part of the business. And you look at the amount of business that we do on a yearly basis and fulfill a lot of people's dreams. So absolutely.
Can I just say something about Paul? Like, if Paul is also very honest, and if he tells you he's going to get it done, he will get it done. There's a lot of mortgage people out there who will give someone a pre-qual letter that means absolutely nothing, and they cause a lot of stress, and you're left at the closing table without a mortgage. Paul says he's going to get it done, he's going to get it done. And that is the most important. He will bring you to the closing table.
Yeah, thank you, Sherri. It's a great point. You see a lot of lenders where they're just not fulfilling contractual agreements, whether it's your commitment letter, which a lot of lenders don't even fulfill that, which drives me crazy. But getting you to the closing table on time, less stress, hand holding your clients, and again, it's just a big transaction. So I appreciate that. Thanks, Kerry.
And if both of you can tell, you see my background here, that luscious, awesome place where I'm living, kind of a studio. Look at the floors. You could be out front about it. You could say that you're very impressed with where I'm living, and I'm going to let you know that Sherri Lilienfeld helped me get this place. And there had to be 1 million people shooting for this place, but Sherri got all my ducks in the row. I mean, we had the reference letters and the background checks and the credit score, all that stuff, because it was not easy finding a place to live along the shore. I'm not going to tell you exactly where I am.
As a rental, as a yearly rental. Very,
Why
very
don't
hard
you
to find.
put your address out there, Mel? Let's tell me where you are. Let's go hang out.
Yeah, but this place is awesome, and we waited extra. It wasn't easy to get this, even though I was a perfect client to get this place, huh, Sherri?
Yeah, and plus it was under construction, and then rentals are very, very challenging, and for a lot of reasons. But we talked about that last time. That was.
But I saw what Sherri did, and when she said that she's diligent and she keeps hanging in there, you really got to do that. There's a lot of phone calls, and you got to push, and you have to know all the legal issues. I thought, you're buying and selling. What's the big deal? Or renting? But it's a lot more than that, because there's an awful lot of fine print. Is there not, Sherri Lilienfeld?
There's definitely a lot of details. You have to be a detail person, and in real estate, it's important because it is a big investment. Even when you're renting, it's a big deal. So.
And Sherri knew, since I'm a bachelor, that it was very important that a lady would be impressed as she entered my abode, right, Sherri?
If you say so.
Yep.
All I know is there's in this kitchen area, there's a wine cooler thing, and he kept on talking about all the dates he was going to have up there.
But you know what I use?
You should stock it with.
Do you know what I use it? You know what I use it
Water,
for?
water bottles.
I use it for Mountain Dew and Cherry Coke and Dr. Pepper. Yeah, I can always have Dr. Pepper on hand.
You were so focused on that wine cooler and talking about red wine, white wine.
That gift you got me many years ago, the Grey Goose vodka, that's still in there.
Oh, geez.
I'm going to open it up at the right time with the right person. And I'm that close.
That was many years ago. All right, good luck on that one.
Yeah.
Is that a little too much information?
Yeah, again.
I'm just trying to personalize the webcast. All right, DownbeachBUZZ.com. Please subscribe to us. We want to be the eyes and ears for anybody that loves, and there's a lot of people that love the Down Beach area, Margate, Ventnor, Longport. But we venture into Lower Chelsea, because is Lower Chelsea, Atlantic City, considered a part of the Down Beach part of Atlantic City? Am I not mistaken about that, or what?
Yeah, I would consider it part of Down Beach. Yeah, definitely.
Because you have the North End, or the North Beach part of, and there's a North Beach Ventnor. There's also a North Beach in Atlantic City, which is unfortunate. But I believe that Lower Chelsea really is, if you cannot figure out a place to get into, whether it's in Margate or Longport or Ventnor, even Brigantine, you got to look at Lower Chelsea. There's a lot of big lots there, huh, Sher?
It's so funny you say that. I was just thinking that the other day when I was driving down Atlantic Avenue. I happen to love older homes with charm. And there's some really exclusive type homes that were owned by very, very wealthy people back in the day. Some of them had speakeasies downstairs. I mean, beautiful homes with great architecture. I was actually just thinking that would be like the area, if I was looking for beach block, that I would look to for sure.
It's really a great neighborhood. It's and you feel like you're in parts of Ventnor. It's all connected, and ever since Stockton got in there, Stockton was able to create that buffer zone, separating out the crazy nightlife Atlantic City from residential old world charm Atlantic City, because a lot of the inventory is still considered, well, probably over 50 years old at least, right, Sharon?
Mm-hmm. And also Stockton, if you noticed, and that's another thing. I was just having a conversation with my daughter when we were walking down the boardwalk. We saw all the new Stockton buildings. I mean, they're really taking over that north end of Atlantic City with more dorms and, I mean, beautiful buildings. So it's nice that we see the money. You always got to follow the money trail, right? So the money's coming into Atlantic City, and that Lower Chelsea area is right there, right next to it, in between Ventnor and the other part of Atlantic City. So yeah, it's definitely a great place to invest.
Yeah, and Chelsea is coming. Actually, the Chelsea part of town is trying to make a comeback, although I wish Stockton was able to boost local business better than it has. There's a fair amount of retail vacancy, and I'll just, if you don't mind, I'll suggest that it's all due to there needs to be more police presence, more public safety, comfort, because when you have big, bright streets that are safe, all the businesses are going to come in. And I just thought I'd share with you that thought, because a lot of media is not talking about the number one issue of Atlantic City, and that is we need to get more cops on the streets. Anywho, all right. All right, that's it. All right, Paul, great job. And people can reach out to you. How do they do that? What's the best way to find Paul Scollage?
Paul Scollage at rate.com. You can get me there anytime.
All right, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Down Beach Buzz, go to downbeachbuzz.com and we'll just wave and say goodbye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.